Hey everybody, it is the interview queen Alicia Atout here, and I am beyond excited to be catching up with Mariah May. Hello.
Hi.
How
Hi.
are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
I can't complain. Yeah, things are going really well. I finally get to have you on my channel, so this is awesome. From one, YouTuber to another, I'm very excited.
Yeah, me too.
So tell me a little bit about what you've been up to, what's been going on the last couple days.
So I had a show on Saturday. So I was wrestling on Saturday. And now I'm back at work at the day job. Not that exciting, so I won't bore you with the details. But yeah, I've just really been training in the gym and at classes and just trying to wrestle at the weekends when I can, or just go to shows and sort of help out and kind of try and get like my face out there and stuff and make some connections. But yeah, just work, wrestling, training, repeat.
I love seeing this tweet you wrote this morning. You were pretty much saying, I have work today, but all I can think about is wrestling. I can't get it off my mind. So is that
Yeah.
always the case? Like it's always in the back there for you?
Yeah, it's honestly the story of my life. It can be a good and a bad thing. Like sometimes it can be kind of stressful because I'm at work and I'm just sitting there like I have so many ideas about wrestling and I wish I could just like let my brain like go, but then I'm like, no, I have to concentrate. Like I have work. You know what I mean? Like I need my job. And that bit's a bit like frustrating because it's like you're sitting there and you're thinking about wrestling, but you're not wrestling. Whereas today, like when I wrestle at the weekends, it's always just like a buzz and I go to work and like in the car on the way to work when I'm sitting in traffic, I'm just thinking about wrestling, and in
Right.
that sense it's really fun and exciting because it makes traffic bearable. Normally I'm like grumpy in traffic, but I was sitting there this morning just thinking about wrestling, just like dreaming about stuff, and in that way it can be really good and it can help the day pass, honestly.
Oh, for sure. And I just love seeing how passionate you are about it. Like the fact that, of course, you do have the 9 to 5, but now the back of your mind constantly is like, what can I do to improve? How can I get myself out there more? And
Yeah.
just speaking to passion, I did, of course, mention earlier YouTube, and you do really cool things on there, whether they're hauls for clothing brands or just little wrestling vlogs, Q&As. So it's kind of the end goal to just vlog more frequently, or tell me a bit about that.
So I always wanted to do YouTube. Put aside the wrestling, like I always wanted to do YouTube. It was just another thing that I enjoyed doing. And then, so I was kind of trying to get into YouTube, and I was sort of doing social media, and this was years ago. And my friend was just like, "Why don't you just be you? Like, why don't you just talk about wrestling?" And I was like, "Because it just
Hey!
sounds weird. Like, I don't know. Like," and then she's like, "But why not? Like, that's who you are, and you should be real, and people might like it." And then obviously that's sort of how I've got my following. So with YouTube, it sort of started out as just something fun and kind of me just trying to put myself out there, because years ago I had like no self-confidence, especially about wrestling. So it was a really good way for me to kind of build my confidence. I know it sounds strange because YouTube, you're in your room and you're behind a camera, but it is actually really vulnerable to be there, and no one's there and you're just talking to a camera.
100%.
You would know. Like
Yeah.
you about that. But yeah, so it sort of started out as, I'd say, maybe a hobby, and then I thought I could do something really cool here, like, because I get so many questions about training. People are like, what happens, how do you do it, what do I expect? And I had those same questions going into it, and I kind of spoke to my coach, I remember, and he was like, why don't we just vlog it, like why don't we film it and make these training videos and stuff. So I started to put more and more wrestling content out there, and obviously now that I'm wrestling on shows, I can put out matches and highlights and, as you say, vlogs. And I have some cool ideas that I'm trying to film, like get ready with me's and film all about like
Yes.
my wrestling gear and stuff like that. But really, like, my goal with it is to kind of get something like what the Bella twins have, where they kind of have like an empire and they have like all the different sides to them, because wrestling is my life. But as you say, like I like fashion, I like to share different DIY things, and I think it's good to kind of not just have your character, but have like you as a person and be able to share that. And the Bella twins, obviously, they have Total Bellas and Divas, but they're so good at that, just being able to actually show them and their family and their life and their hobbies and other interests and stuff. So for me, my goal with YouTube, and I need to be more consistent, but it is kind of tough to find the time, but is to kind of just mainly share the wrestling, but also just show like me and my life and try and like build a brand and something for people to connect with, just like what the Bella twins have done.
Girl, I feel like we have the same dream. Like I look up to what they do and use the perfect word. Like they have built this crazy empire between the wine and the underwear brand and everything. And it's like
Yeah.
I love going to shows and emceeing, hosting, ring announcing, all that stuff I do. But at the same time, like I love doing this stuff and the get readies with me and the Q&As. And it's so hard to balance. And you said one thing there that really stuck out to me, which was the self-confidence. Because when I started this, it was terrifying. Like,
Yeah.
it is just you and a camera, but then you share it to thousands of people and you just think to yourself, like, it is very vulnerable. So how did you get past that originally and end up actually posting stuff and getting into the groove?
So I think it started out with, I got a camera when I was about 16, and this shows how long it took me to do it. I think I didn't film my first video until I was 18. I really wanted to do YouTube when I was at school, and I never did. I got this like amazing camera, like I asked for it for my birthday, and they all saved up and got me this camera, and I never used it. It's so sad. Like I was just too shy. Like I didn't want to do it. And I think the main thing, and I think like every teenager would understand, like when you're at school, when you're in that environment, like it does make you super self-conscious. I think it does really stop you from being confident and out there and being bold. So I kind of left school when I was 18, and I kind of just got to this stage where I was like, why do I care what other people think? Like I should just do it for me, because no matter what you do, you're gonna have someone with a horrible thing to say or to put you down. So it's just like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to go for it. So I went for it, and then I watched it back, and I was like, no. And I think it took me a few tries. So to anyone who is interested in doing YouTube, don't worry if, like, the first try isn't perfect, because I think I filmed, like, 2 or 3 before I ever uploaded one. And even, like, my first YouTube, I'm, like, shaking, and I'm, like, nervous.
I cringe at my first ones. Like, I really hope no one goes back and watches them. I'm like, why?
But then I can't bring myself to delete them, because I'm just like, you know what, like it's a journey and it's growth, and that shows like where you started to where you are now. I mean, look at you, like you're so calm and cool and collected, and I'm sure your first video you're like me, where you were like, like, but
exactly
growth, and like, no one walks in perfect. And I think like for me, getting the self-confidence was just trying and failing, and then also just learning not to really care what other people think, because if just like wrestling, like if you like something and you're passionate about it, you should talk about it, because the biggest connection that I have with people is my wrestling. And if I never listened to my friend and I never shared my actual self, then I wouldn't even be doing this. Like I wouldn't even be wrestling. So, I think you just have to sometimes, like with YouTube and stuff, I think just go for it, fall on your face, try again, refilm it again. And just once you get used to editing and hearing your own voice, it gets better.
That's the hardest part. It's like looking at yourself and hearing yourself. It'll drive you crazy.
Honestly, yeah, you know what? Because at first the looking bit wasn't too bad. It was just like, do I actually sound like that? I'm so annoying. I don't ever want to upload this. And then it then changed into, what do I look like? I look gross.
I did the same thing.
And I'm like, just look at me. I look disgusting. Why has no one told me I look like this in real life? And everyone's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know. But it's because you go crazy, because you're staring at it and you're like editing it and over. And I'm like a bit of a perfectionist. Like I have to have it edited perfectly. And like I'm watching me over and over, and I'm just like, I need to get someone else to do this. I can't look at myself anymore. But,
I feel you.
Yeah, I think everyone on YouTube gets that, honestly.
For sure. Well, I know today you're actually filming some stuff for your own YouTube channel. It's a busy day for you. So I just want to say thank you so very much for joining me on here, for catching up with me. I'm really glad that I was able to get you on.
Me too. This has been so much fun. I love it.
Ooh, wicked. Hopefully it'll be sooner than later. I really hope I can actually run into you soon. That would be so lovely.
Yeah,
so
it would be great.
Keep killing it.
Because
absolutely,
as we discussed, Skype is not my thing. This took me like 20 minutes to even open the app. So it would be great to chat in person. Yeah.
What we got here. Well, I guess just enjoy the rest of your day. I can't wait to see the YouTube content that you end up churning out. And thank you.
No, thank you.
Bye.